Hey everybody, this is Michael Parent from Michael Parent Consulting Services. Today what I wanted to do is just go through a project that I did in the past to give you an example of what a typical Lean Six Sigma continuous improvement project looks like. So we'll walk through what steps I took in this project, we'll talk about the financial impact and the hours saved, and then we'll kind of unpack some of the themes in this project as well. So this one was called a Recruiter to PeopleSoft Error Reduction project. So I was working with an HR team, and essentially they were hiring candidates and they were putting information into their vendor system that helps them track, the candidates that they're fielding and sourcing and all this sort of thing. That was called Taleo. It's an industry leading vendor service. And then they were moving them into PeopleSoft, which was the enterprise-wide human resources infrastructure system. So as they were doing this, they were getting errors, and this error means that somebody had to sit on the other side of the migration between Taleo system and PeopleSoft, check these errors, and then either fix them manually or send them back to the recruiter to fix them in Taleo and then send them over again. So you can see it's totally non-value added work. All we're doing is creating all these errors, and you'll see just how pervasive this issue is. So that was kind of the purpose of our project, is we wanted to reduce the amount of errors that we were generating, moving candidates, people that we've decided to hire from Taleo into that PeopleSoft system. It's a very typical type of issue in the admin world. You can see here that one of the first things that we did is we said, well, let's get an idea for what the current state looks like. So we started tracking all of these errors. I've blurred out the names over here, but the names were essentially the person who found the error and then the originator on the talent acquisition or the recruiter side. You can see that we did not have very good performance. We actually generated 71 errors in 24 days, and those are 24 calendar days, not working days. So really, we generated 71 errors in about like 3 weeks of work. So even less than that. So clearly an issue, and you can see the time it takes to resolve. Some of them is just sending an email. Others take up to a day or two. So you can see that this has a direct impact on a enterprise's ability to be competitive and to hire people very quickly if you're just waiting around for somebody to fix an error. From this error log, we were able to focus on 3 of the most pervasive errors that kind of populate this log. Their first one was that there was this incongruence between people being entered as full-time work, but then being assigned, 28 hours of work for some reason in the Taleo system. So that was a non-congruence that we needed to fix. The other thing is that people for county code, this is the county that you live in. I live in the Detroit area, and I belong to Wayne County. Many people would put the United States of America, and so that was clearly something that would have to get pushed back because it was an incorrect data entry, and then the recruiter would have to fill it out correctly. And then finally, we wanted to focus on missing or invalid employee IDs. So the employee ID is a 6-letter string or six-digit string of numbers that say, hey, this is the employee's ID, and that connects to their I-9 stuff and all of the stuff that you need to be hired in. And some of them were being left blank. Some of them had too many numbers. Some of them had too little numbers. So that was an issue that we wanted to solve. And I'll say here too, actually we'll move on. We'll take a look at one of our countermeasures. We only did 3 countermeasures, but you'll see just by focusing on this sort of stuff, focusing on the 3 biggest problems, these countermeasures actually had quite a bit of leverage. The first thing that we did is we had these drop downs for part-time and full-time. And at that point, they said, 38 hours, 28 hours, all just numbers. And what we did is we just changed how they looked in that Taleo system. So if it said 28 hours, it would say 28-part-time. If it were 39, it would say 39-full-time, right? So we're just giving them extra prompts, extra nudges to say, is this a part-time employee? Is this a full-time employee? And that actually made a huge difference. The next thing that we did is we added clarifying text to the county code. We said, hey, enter the county code do not enter United States of America, right? So this immediately, most of the people that we're hiring live in the United States of America. So if you read this as country and not county, you might have said, wow, I was going to put United States. Oh, the reason is because they want the county. We'll see that that had a huge impact. And I'll also say that our systems didn't allow us to do a lot of data validation. A lot of these improvements could actually be better if we just allowed for data validation, but the Taleo system that we were working in actually didn't allow us to do that at this time. So we were constrained by technology, but we still found ways to make discernible and good countermeasures, and you'll see the impact on our organization because of it. Then lastly, kind of more for training and follow up with managers, is we created a dashboard for them to track recruiter performance and then provide instantaneous feedback if an error occurred. So this is what the dashboard looks like. We're tracking up here in the upper left 3 different series of those errors. The blue one is that employee ID issue, that red one is that county code issue, and then that yellow one is the part-time, full-time issue. And then what we did here is we made it, very easy with a drop-down where any recruiting manager or director can take a look, and I've hidden the names here as well, but you can see who's generating the most of these sorts of errors, all 3 of them. Okay, now I can start, coach and correct this person first and then move down to these other ones. But we can see, even as we've made these improvements, we only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, in January 2022 that had these issues. So we've already made some huge progress. And that's actually what our aggregate impact of errors show. We see that where we were when we started, we had improved by an 80% reduction in errors for the part-time, full-time issue. We improved by 80% for that county code issue, and we improved by over 90% for that missing or invalid employee ID. So you can see here, just by focusing on these 3 things and also having that dashboard, we're able to reduce the total errors per month by 72%. It's very important that we understand as we do this that there's no capital investment here, right? We went in, we wrote lines a little bit differently. It took us probably less than 20 hours to do, and we're having a huge impact on the quality, the effectiveness, and the efficiency of our organization. If we look at it in terms of hours saved, a lot of minutia here, but you can see that we've actually saved 384 hours per year just by looking at, kind of prorating the performance of the before versus the after. Also very important, not really quantifiable to this project, but strategically important to talent acquisition, is that they're trying to hire and trying to recruit people as fast as possible, particularly in a very competitive labor force environment, right? So the fact that we can now reduce our time to fill, this TTF, time to fill an open requisition, by 2 days is absolutely huge, right? So now we're able to get people into our organization faster than ever before, simply by doing those very simple 3 countermeasures. So huge impact on the organization. We can take a look at the money saved, and we came up to a annual savings of $15,000. It's nothing to write home about. $15,000 is not a lot, but really what I like to say is, in continuous improvement, it's like baseball. We don't have to get a home run every time. We'll take triples, we'll take doubles, we'll take, sacrifice flies. We'll take any money that we can, particularly if we're not investing in the organization. And now we can be $15,000 a year more efficient in less than a month, right? This project did not take very long, and now we can iterate on the next one and the next one. So all this to say is, the themes of continuous improvement is that we're looking for any improvement opportunity that comes our way. We're really able to just do small improvements that have, I would say, quite a big impact on the organization. Maybe not financially, but 384 hours of fixing errors a year is nothing anybody wants to do. So you're improving the employee satisfaction with their jobs. You're becoming more competitive in some of the other KPIs of your organization, like what we saw with time to fill a requisition here. And again, we're freeing up resources to do even more continuous improvement projects again and again and again. So all this to say, this is what a typical, I would say, low impact, low, low resource, low resource project looks like, that you can still get a large impact to your organization.